what time of day to call business owners, because he works a full-time job, so he's figuring out like when's the best time to call.
Think about what everyone else is doing and do the opposite. Think about everyone's calling at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., call on Saturday morning, call on Sunday, call after hours. Like, we get these things in our head like, oh, if we call after hours, the business owner is going to be with their family and then they're going to be upset. And it's like, dude, when I did door-to-door sales, the best days were the days we knocked on holidays sometimes. The sales reps that would go, oh my gosh, they're going to be upset because it's the 4th of July. They wouldn't sell. But people like me, I would go in, I'm like, hey, everybody's home. Everybody's having some freaking little moonshine. Everyone's in a good mood. We're going to sling some security systems. And I had some of my best days. So I think about this all the time with marketing. I think about it with sales. I think about it with everything. Think about what everybody else is doing and do the opposite. If everybody else is calling saying, hey, I'm going to rank you at the top of Google, don't do that. Call and give free leads, right? That's why that works. I've prospected on Saturdays. I've prospected on Fridays. I prospected on Mondays. I prospected at night. Everything you can imagine. So that might be my advice. What happens when a prospect doesn't do Zoom or is not familiar with it? What do? Do everything you can to get them on the Zoom. Realize you can close deals without getting on a Zoom. I did my first, I don't know how many deals closed without the Zoom, but just realize, guys, I think about sales like baking a cake. And if you want to have the cake turn out perfect, that's just lights out, 10 out of 10, you follow the instructions, right? All the ingredients, exactly the same, no substitutes. You do this, you let it sit for this long, you mix this, you add this, you melt the butter, and you have a perfect cake. And sales is like that, right? And you'll learn that you have these certain steps that if you follow them to a T, you will have a perfect cake. You will get to a point where you know you can predict with almost 100% accuracy you are going to close a deal because you're like, oh, I sent the screencast. I sent them this many leads. They said this. I did that. We scheduled it at this time. I went through my script. Boom, boom, boom. And all of a sudden, you know you're getting the deal. You know. But what you have to realize is sales is an art. It's not a science, right? And so the difficult thing is it's not going to be perfect. So you might get some business owner that you're just not, no matter what you do, you're not going to get them on a Zoom call. It's just going to be really difficult. Or you're going to get them on a Zoom call, but they're going to be on their phone freaking looking at you like this at a gas station. Not ideal. It's not like using the best butter at the supermarket. However, you do everything else you can correctly, and you might have to substitute the butter for the freaking off-brand. And it might decrease your chances of making that perfect cake, or AKA getting that sale. It might decrease them just a little bit, but you do whatever you can. You do everything you can to hit all the steps, hit all the ingredients in the right order to get that perfect cake or to get that sale. And so my advice to you would be do everything you can. Make it super easy. Make it not a big deal. Hey, I'm going to send you this link. Literally, all you have to do is click on it. You know that thing that says Google Chrome? Go to that and then hold on the top and it will say paste the thing and boom, you're right in. If you do it on your phone or Mr. Business Owner, just go to your laptop. I'm going to send it to your email. You're going to click on that little link. It's the thing that's underlined and it's going to pop up and we're going to be able to talk. And the reason I want you to do a Zoom link or I want you to do a Zoom is I want you to see I'm a real human. I don't care. I like phone calls just like you do. I want you to see I'm a real human. If we're going to do business, if we're going to break bread together, I want you to see I'm a real human. Do everything you can, but if you feel like you're losing the deal because of it, then don't do it. Do a phone call, do whatever. But just know that if you do everything exactly perfectly, and by the way, the formula, the ingredients, the perfect recipe, that's what we talk about. That's what we teach inside Digital Landlords. You're not going to have all the pieces. You're going to have to figure out your own perfect recipe. You're either going to have to figure out your own perfect recipe or come and partake of mine that I've already figured out, right? Whichever one you want to do. But once you have it, you need to follow it exactly. Just know it's not going to be perfect and it may decrease your chances, but sometimes you got to get creative. Sometimes you got to have a little bit of off the cuff nature to you. Heather said it. She said, sometimes you got to improvise. I have to do a bunch on regular phone calls because I can't get on a Zoom. Yeah, I've closed plenty of deals on phone calls. I'll just tell you flat out, I'll take a Zoom call all day. You're going to close at a higher percentage. Can you still close on a phone call? Yes. Much higher percentage if you will do it on a Zoom call though. Gina says, when you're searching cities on SEMrush, do you get a lot of 0% back? I bet yes, tons. You're gonna get a ton. I always go with like the lowest population and I'm like, okay, 30,000 population concrete, whatever, 20,000 people, 0, 0, 0. Concrete contractors, 0. Concrete companies, 0. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, okay, the city's out. And I'm gonna go to the next one, 30,000. And I'm almost looking for volume. That's kind of my thing with SEMrush.
How about answering calls to leads when they come in while I'm working?
Here's the thing, depending on the niche, right? So like towing's tough because if someone's stuck on the side of the road, you're not gonna be able to call them 2 hours later. They're gonna just go to the next person. Concrete, a little different. So I always say this, all the niches that I recommend, they're not like those emergency services. I've done towing sites, but I don't recommend towing. Concrete, not an emergency. You need a patio, you don't need it today. You could probably have it tomorrow, or you could have it the next day or whatever. Don't think you have to answer these live. Back to my example of the recipe. If you answer them live, do you have a better chance of transferring it to the business owner? Yes. Do you have a better chance of it getting closed by the business owner? Yes. However, you have a job, you're a 9 to 5, you're still trying to get out of the rat race. You can't always answer them. So don't think you can't do this because of that. You're gonna have to wait. And for me, even in 2020, when I was ramping this up, the times when I didn't have my call guy on the phones, because I hired a guy like midway through the year, or maybe a quarter way through the year, he would just answer the phones just for leads. The days that he was sick or whatever, I'm like, dude, I can't be the phone guy. So what I would do is I'd let him go to voicemail, and then like midday or maybe once an hour or at the end of the day, I would go and like, oh shoot, I got 10 leads to call, and I just call them and I do the double call, voicemail, text. So don't think, who is that, Sam? You don't have to. It is better if you can, but it doesn't mean that you have to. You also don't have to live transfer. You don't have to. Is it going to give you a better chance? Yes. But have I done 3-way text messages? Sure. So again, guys, back to my example, there's these steps, this secret recipe is what we talk about inside Digital Landlords that I have that do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. If you follow it with almost 100% certainty, you're going to get a deal, period. But you're not always going to be able to follow it exactly.